These are devotions for people at a social distance. Lately, it seems in the lectionary readings, the daily lectionary, we keep coming back to a lot of the parables of Jesus, and specifically the parables about waiting and being prepared. And he told many such parables. Obviously, this was an important theme for him, an important theme for the early church. And I gotta say, I sometimes struggle to understand these parables and what it really means, in my day to day life to be patient, to wait, and to be prepared. Prepared for what exactly? Um, but, well, let's turn to the parable that came up in the daily lectionary today. It's Matthew 24:45. Who then is the faithful and wise slave whom his master has put in charge of his household to give the other slaves their allowance of food at proper time? Blessed is the slave whom his master will find at work when he arrives. So this slave, a steward, important slave servant in the household of the master, is given charge over the others, left to his own, and has certain responsibilities to care for people. Um, Truly, I tell you, he will put that one in charge of all his possessions. But if that wicked slave says to himself, my master is delayed, and he begins to beat his fellow slaves and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that slave will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he does not know. He will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So again, I often struggle understanding a parable like this one, but we are now in a situation where we are dealing with, in a very powerful way, with patience and waiting and being prepared. I'm thinking in particular by a couple of announcements that have been made very recently of the development of a vaccine for COVID-19. And just the fact that these the vaccines have been developed, that they seem to be remarkably successful, gives us hope. Okay, we're going to get through this thing. We're going to see some life. It won't be exactly the same as it was, but a better life on the other side of it. We have this promise, but there is still a process to go through. The final approvals, which of course are very important, and then the very complex process of preparing the vaccine and distributing. It's all going to take some time. So we're waiting. And we know not at this point what hour, what day this salvation will come. And I think that maybe this parable of Jesus is rather illustrative at this moment. We can be like this slave, we can be faithful. Okay, let's live as best we can right now, respecting, taking care of others, which I hope we would all do. But you know what the other temptation is? Oh, we're here. We're stuck here. Let's just forget about norms. Let's just get whatever we can out of this. Let's be unkind and abusive to other people because this is just a really bad situation. So I'm only going to think of myself. And that, I think we're seeing, is also very much a possible reaction. Faithfulness is remaining kind and respectful to others. And I know there are people who say, well, because I'm in a person of faith and because I believe, then I have all of these rights to do what I want for my purpose. That is the way of reasoning of the bad slave in Jesus' parable. Waiting, trusting in God, hoping for salvation is about how we care for one another at difficult times. So there is an application of this parable that made sense to me today. Gracious God, we're in a kind of limbo state where, yes, we are very much worried about this disease and how it's spreading and the danger to society and to individuals. And yet we see this glimmer of hope that we will get through it, that there will be something on the other side of it. It's hard to be patient. It's hard to wait. Help us to wait and be patient with care, respect for others, and looking out for people. Amen.